Hey, what's going on, family? This is Andy Henriquez, and of course, I want to welcome you to the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. I appreciate you joining me. We're going to get started in just a quick second. I appreciate you joining in. And as you're tuning in, do me a quick favor. Go ahead and put in your city and your state. I want to give you a quick shout out and recognize you for joining me tonight on tonight's message. I got a message for you. Hey, family, what's going on? What is going on? This is Andy Henriquez here. And of course, I want to welcome you to the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. I've got a message for you specifically for those of you who realize that we are coming close to a year end, but you realize you still got some stuff in you. Like you still plan on making this year finish strong. You still have some things to complete. You are not counting yourself out. You're not having conversations just talking about what is going to take place next year, but you realize that there is so much more for you to make happen this year. And so if that is you, like you know that this year is not done yet, you know that you still have some things that you want to make happen, this message is specifically for you. And of course, I want to welcome you to the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. And as I say, this is where you come each and every week in order to get that little midweek pick me up. And yeah, I know there's a lot going on right now, but you need to have that place that you can go just to sort of break away from that daily routine, just some place that you can go and just sort of get your batteries refilled and position yourself to get to that next level. And so, of course, my name is Andy Henriquez, and I want to welcome you to the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. Hey, let's do this real quick. As you're tuning in, for those of you who are joining me via the live stream, as you're tuning in, go ahead and put in your city and your state in the comment section so I could go ahead and give you a quick shout out before we get started on tonight's message. But listen, the reason why I decided to put this message together tonight is specifically because I realized this. This is the time of the year where many people begin to check out, okay? This is the time of the year that there's really, to be quite honest with you, a whole lot of distractions. And many of those distractions are really pretty good, to be honest with you, right? I mean, this is the time of the year where we've got the holiday season. We just came off of Thanksgiving. Now we're going to be coming into Christmas. And before you know it, we'll be celebrating the new year. But here's the thing that I also know. If you look across the board and you look at different companies, you look at different organizations, what you'll find is oftentimes, depending on the structure of the company, this is also the time that productivity begins to really, really dwindle. Starts going out because people are checking out, people are going on vacation, and people start really having a next year mentality. And so I don't know where you're at right now. I don't know if you have one of those next year mentalities. And so you might be saying, well, Andy, what's the next year mentality? Let me tell you what that is real quick. A next year mentality is when you are at the place right now and you're already talking about what you're going to be doing next year. And so in other words, you're already having conversations with people and you're saying, you know what, next year, I'm going to make this thing happen. Hey, I had somebody the other day who was talking to me and they said, hey, Andy, what are you doing? Are you getting ready and focusing on next year? And listen, I am all for planning out your year. I'm all for planning out amazing goals. I'm all for making sure that next year is a phenomenal year. But I don't know about you, but the last time I checked my calendar, this year is not yet over. And so I am speaking specifically to that person who realizes and acknowledges the fact that this year is not yet over and you still want to make some things happen. And so here's what I want you to realize. The majority of people, those around you, maybe your friends, your family members, your colleagues, the people around you, the majority of those people, guess what? This is around that time of the year where they start checking out, right? If you were to follow them on a daily basis, you're going to see that productivity is going down. People are really just They've got a lack of a sense of urgency. They're no longer focused and so forth. And I want you to realize that that does not have to be you. Like you can still finish strong. You can still squeeze some great things out of this year. But I want you to understand that that's not going to just sort of happen by circumstance. It's not going to just happen by coincidence. You're going to have to be very intentional about making that happen. And so I want to break down for you specifically 3 things that you've got to do if you want to finish this year strong, if you want to make some great things happen. Now, before I do that, let me give a quick shout out to a couple people. I want to say hi real quick to Roz Jones, who's tuning in from Jacksonville, Florida. Michael Glassy, who's tuning in from Marietta, California. We've got Sheila, who's tuned in from Shreveport. We've got Darren tuned in from Baltimore, Maryland. We've got Yanette also tuning in from Maryland. I appreciate that. And so, of course, I want to welcome all of you. And do me a favor, as you're jumping in, go ahead and hit the share button, because I know that there's somebody that you're connected to that needs to hear this message. And so once again, tonight's message is specifically for those of you who are approaching the close of the end of the year, and you realize that there is still some things that you want to make happen. There's some things that you still want to do. Like, you still got some big goals, some big dreams, and you realize that this year is not over yet. And so even though other people around you, they're sort of coasting, they got this sort of next year mentality, you're not buying into the next year mentality, because you realize that there's still some things for you to do this year. But what I want to make sure that you're very, very clear on is, as far as you making some great things happen this year and closing out this year strong, it is not going to happen by coincidence. It is not going to happen by just wishful thinking. It's not going to happen just because you're trying to be positive. It's not going to happen because you're just a good person. That's not what's going to make it happen. You're going to be about very, very, very intentional to make sure that you close out this year very strong. And so I believe that there's 3 things that you've got to do in order to close out this year strong. And so here's one of the first things that I believe that you've got to make sure that you absolutely do. And here's the thing I want you to realize. You need to get focused. And when I say focus, I'm talking about you've got to create some laser focus right now. And the reason why you've got to create some laser focus is because of the fact that there are so many distractions around this time of the year, and specifically during the last month of the year. I want you to understand that there's a boatload of distractions. You've got the holidays. You've got people all around you that are taking vacation. You start having conversations where people are not really having focused conversations. People are not having conversations about their goals, their dreams, their visions. They're not really having conversations around about the amount of income that they want to make. This is normally around the time where you start taking your foot off the gas. And let me tell you about that. I am all for the time that we're going to be spending with our family. I'm all for celebrating during this holiday season and celebrating for Christmas and so forth. Make no mistake about it. I will be with my family and having a wonderful time. But I want you to understand that there's a difference between being present at that moment and then already checking out right now mentally. Right? So there's a major, major distinction between the two. And what I want you to understand is it means that you're going to have to get really, really focused, and it becomes more of a challenge to become focused. And the reason why it becomes more of a challenge is because there's more and more people around you who are checking out. So that's the thing I want you to understand. You're having to get focused while other people around you are not being focused. And so what are some of the things that you've got to do to stay focused? Number one, I need you to be very, very careful about not having a rear view mentality. And so here's what I mean by a rear view mentality. It means that you're approaching year end, and where you could get really focused and make some great things happen, instead of focusing on what you can make happen, instead of focusing on what you will make happen, instead of focusing on finishing this year strong, you get caught up and focus on what didn't happen this year and what didn't work out and what you wish should have, could have, and would have happened for you. And so once you start buying into sort of that rear view mirror mentality, and you stop focusing on what you want to make happen, I want you to get this. Whatever you focus on expands. And so if you're focusing on missed opportunities, if you're focusing on that you didn't necessarily make the level of income that you want to make this year, if you're focusing on a failed relationship, if you're focused on some things that you're not quite happy about, understand that the more that you focus on those things, the more that magnifies. And not only that, but it begins to suck the life out of you. And not only that, but you find yourself becoming very, very frustrated. And because of that, unfortunately, you can't make anything special happen with the time that you have left in this year. And so what I want you to do is I want you to become laser focused, which means, number one, you got to make sure that you don't have a rear view mentality. In other words, you got to let go. Okay. Whatever didn't work out for you this year didn't work out. Whatever relationship didn't work out, it didn't work out. Whatever quotas you didn't hit, those things didn't work out, that's fine. But the question becomes, what are you going to do now to finish out this year strong? What are you going to do to rebound? What are you going to do to make up for it? What are you going to do so that you can suck everything that you can out of this year? That's the thing that I want to know. And so what I believe is going to really, really help you out is part of getting focused is also you figuring out what is the one thing, you hear me? What is the one thing that you're going to focus on completing before this year ends? I just need you to focus on one thing, right? Because amazing things happen when you can get focused and focus specifically on just one thing. So I want you to think about one thing that you want to make sure that you finish out this year strong with. One thing that you're going to put all of your energy, all of your effort behind. And that one thing that you choose, I want it to be something that you're going to get a high rate of return on your effort and on your energy, okay? So I want you to think about what that one thing is. And so maybe perhaps for you, it was a specific project that you wanted to finalize. I want you to think about what that one thing is. And I need you to commit all of your time, all of your effort, all of your energy, all of your focus to completing that one thing. Listen, Stephen Covey in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, one of the things that he said is you've got to keep the main thing the main thing. And so one of the things that I want you to figure out is what is your main thing? What is the thing that you're going to make sure that you finish out this year strong with? What is the thing that you're going to stay focused on? What is the thing that you are not going to allow any distractions to pull you out of the way? Is it because you wanted to finish out by getting a certain amount of people into your business? That you want to close a certain amount of prospects? Are you looking to finalize a book that you've been working on that's in a final draft? Have you been working on getting the doors open for your business? Do you have a certain weight that you're trying to lose, right? When it comes to your health, what is the one thing that you just want to finalize, that you want to finish strong for this particular year? And I need you to become so laser focused on those things. And when I say laser focused, I'm talking about putting your blinders on. And I need everything else that is simply a distraction. I need you to just simply tune those things out. It is the only way that you're going to finish this year strong. And it is the only way that you're going to produce massive, massive results in a short period of time. You would be absolutely surprised what you can get done in less than a month when you are able to put nothing but complete focus around one single project, one single thing. And so I want you to think about all the things you want to make happen. I want you to figure out of all of those things, what is the most important thing? And I want you to put all of your effort, all of your attention, all of your focus on that one thing. And I want you to be very, very mindful of not allowing yourself to experience any type of distractions. So do me a favor right now, if you're following along with me in the comment section, put #focus, #focus, because that's one of the things that is going to be absolutely necessary to make sure that you finish this year strong. So remember what I told you. No rear view mentality. What is that, Andy? Rear view mentality is when you start recapping and playing back everything that has not worked out for you. Listen, big deal. It didn't work out. You didn't make the money that you necessarily wanted. You didn't necessarily hit all your goals. You didn't necessarily lose the weight. You didn't necessarily do all the things that you want to make happen. That's okay. That's part of life. You're not going to always hit all of your goals and all of your objectives. But here's the thing. Instead of replaying those things in your mind over and over again, let's figure out what's the one thing that you're going to commit to doing. What is the one thing that you're going to focus on? What is the one thing that you're going to put all your energy behind, all your focus and all your attention on? And let's get that one thing done. Do you hear me? So yes, Kevin, you got to focus. Yes, Roz, you got to focus. Yes, Darren, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. So that is one of the key things for you finishing this year strong. Now, here's the second thing that you're going to have to do in order to finish this year strong. The second thing that you're going to have to do is I need you to create a sense of urgency. You've got to create a sense of urgency. And so let me tell you something right now. There's a lot of people that unfortunately, as they wind down this year and they begin to wind down, the reason why they missed out on many of their goals, on many of their dreams, on many things that they want to make happen is because they did not have a sense of urgency. In other words, they were very casual about their goals. They're very casual about their dreams. One of my mentors said very long time ago that is a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn, who has since passed away. He had an awesome audio program called The Art of Exceptional Living. And one of the things that Jim Rohn said, he said that if you're casual about your dreams, if you're casual about your goals, then you will end up a casualty. And so you don't want to be casual about finishing this year. You want to have a sense of urgency. Like you've got to create your own sense of urgency. Like I want you to be looking at and literally counting the days that are left and create this container for yourself and create a sense of urgency and realize that time is not on your side, right? The calendar is not on your side. And so I need you to create a sense of urgency, which means that you got to pick up your energy level. You got to pick up your level of activity. You've got to pick up your level of commitment in order to make some things happen and to get things done. And so forget this like sort of casual demeanor. Oh, well, if I don't finish it this year, then I'll get to it next year. You got to act as if you don't even know if next year is promised, because the reality of it is none of us know for sure that next year is promised. And so you've got to have a mindset that I've got to get this thing done right now. So there's got to be an absolute sense of urgency. Let everybody else talk about what they're going to do next year. Let everyone else talk about the phone calls they're going to make next year, the projects that they're going to do next year, the books they're going to finish next year, the business they're going to get off the ground next year. Let them talk about what's going to happen next year. But you need to have the mindset that, as far as I'm concerned, next year is not promised. And so I'm going to do whatever I can to increase my energy level, to increase the effectiveness of my activity, to eliminate distractions, so I make sure that I get the absolute highest rate of return on all of my efforts. And so you've got to create a sense of urgency. And I'm telling you right now, do not allow yourself to postpone the things that you want to do and check them off as things that you're going to do next year. Listen, the longer that you put those things away, the greater the likelihood that you're not going to get it done. It is a law. It is called the law of diminishing intent. What the law of diminishing intent says is that if you intend to do something like start the business, if you intend to do something like finish the book, if you intend to do something like lose the weight, if you intend to do something like pick up the phone and tell somebody that you're sorry and ask for forgiveness, the longer that you take to do it, the longer that you not act, the longer that you delay making it happen, the greater the likelihood that you will not make it happen. Right? That is called the law of diminishing intent. And so if you want to radically increase your level of results, if you want to radically increase what you want to make happen, you want to pick up your energy level and you want to pick up your sense of urgency. And so while everybody else is sleepwalking, everybody else is being casual, you need to pick up your effort, pick up your energy. You want people around you to be like, hey, why do you have this sense of urgency? Like, why don't you just chill out? Like, chill. You can finish this next year. You need to look at them and say, hey, you focus on what you're going to finish next year. I'm going to get this done right now, this year. And so what it means is that if you're in sales, it means that right now you need to have a sense of urgency. You need to be picking up the phone and making more phone calls. If right now you've got a nonprofit, this is the end of the year. This is the number one time of the year where people begin to make donations. Not only is it the number one time for people to make donations because they're doing their tax planning, they realize that they're going to have to pay Uncle Sam the money. And this is one of the best times that when your competition is asleep, for you to be picking up the phone and calling people up and finding out if they want to contribute, make a contribution, make donation as they do their year-end planning to your nonprofit organization. If you are a coach, if you are a trainer, if you are a speaker, this is the time right now that you need to be getting on the phone with prospects, speaking to people, and seeing if they want to make sure that they position themselves to win next year by getting some additional coaching and personal development done this year. This is the time that you need to have that sense of urgency. Like, don't wait. Please, please, please don't wait like everybody else and start saying that you're going to do all these things next year. First of all, next year is not promised to all of us, right? We all pray and hope that we're going to be here next year and many more years after that. But every single year, tragically, you will see that there will be people that, if you look on the news, people who died and didn't even make it into the new year. And so we don't know how much time we have left. So you need to have a sense of urgency, meaning you got to get this thing done when? Not tomorrow, not next year, not next week. You need to get it done right now, right now. So what is this one thing that you got to get done? Remember, I told you got to get focused. You got to focus on what that one thing is. And then whatever that one thing is, don't be casual about it. Don't be casual, baby. Nah, let's have a sense of urgency. Let's start saying to ourselves, man, I want to get this thing done, but I'm going to get it done when? Right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. Do me a favor right now, because I know that there is someone that you're connected to that they are already having that next year conversation. They're buying into that next year mentality. They are starting to sort of downshift. They're trying to cruise out and finish out this year. They don't have any focus. They're losing their focus. They're being distracted by all the things that happen around this time of the year. They don't have a sense of urgency, and they need to hear this message, just a piece of this message, so that they can get back focused, so that they can have a sense of urgency, and so that they can make those things happen for themselves, okay? And so I want you right now, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the share button, because there's somebody that you're connected to that needs to hear this message. And so do me a favor right now, hit the share button. But the other thing is, if you're following along with me, do me a favor, put hashtag urgency, because I need you to have an absolute sense of urgency. Do you hear me? There needs to be a sense of urgency. We need to make sure that every single person out there who is within your sphere of influence, everybody who comes within connection to you, can tell that you are at a different pace than everybody else around you. We want them to see you and can tell. And when they look at you, they can say, man, that is a woman who is trying to get some things done, right? I want them that when they look at themselves and they look at the pace that you're going at, I want them to say to themselves like, man, I need to pick up the pace. I need to pick up the speed. I need to have a greater sense of urgency, because of the way that they're watching you, right? Because of the way that they're observing you making phone calls, the way that they're observing you setting your goals, the way that they're observing you pursuing your goals and your dreams, the way that they're observing you going after your customers and clients, the way that they're observing you still putting on your events, the way that they observe you working, right? So while they're downshifting, I want them to see that you're absolutely accelerating, right? That's what we mean by having a sense of urgency. Like, people should just be able to look on and say, man, he's not playing around. Man, she's not playing around. They're trying to make some things happen. And that is one of those things that's absolutely required. So let's make sure that we absolutely just begin to just recap on finishing this year strong. Remember, the first thing is, I want you to get this. The most of us, the reason why we don't finish strong is because around this time of the year, we get really, really distracted. So I want you to get focused. But in order for you to get focused, you need to have something, one principal thing that you need to say that this is the one thing that I'm going to knock out the park before the end of the year. Figure out what that one thing is. What is that thing that you're going to knock out the park? What is the project that you've been wanting to finalize? What are the phone calls you've been wanting to make? What are the leads you've been wanting to close? Like, I don't know what that one thing is, but I need you to become laser focused on what that one thing is. Like, I knew that closing out this particular year, I knew that during this particular month, one of the things that I was going to put all my energy, all my focus on was making sure that I had a successful final training for the year. I do a signature training called the Master Storyteller Academy, and I purposely scheduled a Master Storyteller Academy during the month of December. Some people say, well, Andy, why would you put it in December? You got to compete with the holidays. You got to compete with this. I don't allow the calendar to set my pace. I set something on the calendar and I set the pace, right? And so, yes, I understand people are going to be checking out. Yes, I understand people are going to be traveling. Yes, I understand that around this time, people don't always have the mindset that they're going to do. But I knew that if I could set the event during this month, that it would give me a different level of focus. It would require me to make sure that I maintained a certain amount of activities to be able to make sure that that event was successful. So I had to remain focused. That event is going to happen December 13, 14, and 15. And following that event, we're going to be immediately engaged in activities to start setting us up to continue to finish this year strong. I want you to get that, right? So I need you to get this. I have 2 other 6-month coaching programs. And I have coaching programs that are taking place this month and another coaching program that is launching this month. Why did I do that? Why would you make that happen all during the month of December? Because of the mere fact that I want to finish strong. And I need to make sure that I have specific projects and specific things that I'm going to put my energy and focus behind. So you need to figure out, as you close out this year, what are you going to focus on? What are you going to put your energy on to make sure that you're absolutely successful? And so I want to make sure that you focus. The other thing I told you is that you got to make sure that you create a sense of urgency. Do not be casual. Like, don't be casual. Like, casual conversations sound like this. Oh, well, you know what? You getting ready for next year? That's someone who's casual about closing out this year. Why are you trying to talk to me about next year? Let's talk about how we're going to finish out this year strong. Let's talk about what we're going to do. Let's talk about how we're going to knock it out the park for the rest of this year. Let's talk about what the numbers are going to be for this month as we close out this year. Let's talk about making more income, having better activity, better results during this month than you did in the previous 2 months. Let's talk about that, right? Because that's going to require that you put in the right effort, the right energy, and it's going to require that you have a sense of urgency. So you've got to create a sense of urgency. And then the final thing I want you to get is this, because this is one of the keys, that once you become focused on what you're going to do, once you have a sense of urgency, the final thing is, I want you to get this. You got to remove all emotions from the formula. You got to put your head down, and you have to do the work. And so what do I mean? Why do I say remove the emotions? Remove the emotions because it is very, very easy right now for you to start creating a story for yourself, right? For you to start buying into, well, you know, it'll be okay. It's the holidays and, you know, it's expected that things are going to slow down and so forth. Like, no. Like, don't start buying into that story. Let everybody else start putting in that story, right? Or don't allow yourself to get sucked into, oh, well, you know, this year things just didn't go well. So I'm going to stop focusing on this year and I'm just going to start focusing on what I'm going to make happen next year. No, like, take the emotions out of it. Like, stop trying to like play this emotional game with yourself. Like, take the emotions out of it and let's just figure out, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Remove the emotions out of it. And what are you going to do to finish this year strong? Who do you need to phone? What phone calls do you need to make? What are the key core activities that you need to do consistently, right? Who do you need that's going to hold you accountable to make sure that some things that you said that you're going to finalize and do this year, who are the people that you are going to have hold you accountable, right? What are the environments that you need to put yourself into? What are the key activities that you need to do to finish out this year strong? So we've got to be willing to do the work, and don't postpone doing the work next year, right? So you got to do the work when? Right now, like right now. I think about this, you know, here we are, we're in the month of December. One of the things that, you know, even leading up to this month, I did, I knew I had my Master Storyteller Academy coming up. I did a free event. And the purpose of that free event was to create an audience so that I could create value for it and then invite people from that audience to attend my Master Storyteller Academy. And then following that, I had a 2-day retreat with my mastermind program. So I have a 6-month Master Storyteller Academy coaching program. And then I have a Master Storyteller Mastermind program, a 6-month program. We just had a retreat from that program. And from that program, I just launched another coaching program called Story into Profit. And so I have people who just enrolled into that particular coaching program, that they came into the coaching program right now. They're being onboarded into that coaching program right now during this month. And then following that, this Saturday, I'm going to be speaking at a Leaving Your Legacy event that is being held by a young lady by the name of LaQuisha Williams. I'm going to be coming in there and speaking about people, how to leverage their story in order to create a legacy in their lives. Following that, I'm going to be doing my Master Storyteller Academy. That's my 3-day training in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. After the Master Storyteller Academy, I've got several group coaching sessions that are still closing out for this year and kicking off another program and enrolling a new set of people who are coming into my new mastermind program, who are going to be rolling into a 6-month mastermind program. You say, well, whoa, wait a second. All that's happening in the month of December? Yes. Do you hear me? And I'm telling you right now, if I had to pull out the crystal ball for you right now, and you want to know, Andy, who is going to be kicking butt and taking names during the first month of next year? You know who's going to be kicking butt and taking names during the first month of next year? It's the people who closed out this year on beast mode. It's the people who closed out this year strong. It's the people who understand that this year is still not over and are putting in the work, and they're going to close this year with so much momentum. They're going to close out this year having brought in new clients, bringing in new business that by default, when you look at them in January, they're just going to be looking like they're just off to this amazing start. But what you didn't realize is the reason why January looks so good is because the work that they did in the month of December. And so what I want you to realize is this: if you want to have a phenomenal year next year, like you want to kick that off, like amazing, like you want it to be ridiculous, understand that it is going to be based off of how you finish out this year. And so all I'm saying to you right now is, by all means, I want you to enjoy your family during these upcoming holidays, right? I want you to enjoy your family on Christmas. I want you to enjoy yourself on New Year's Eve. But I also want you to be very, very clear that Christmas is one day. New Year's Eve is one day. That's just 2 days. What are you going to do the rest of those days? Like, some people are already checked out. Like the holidays is like a multiple day thing. Like, that's not the case. I want you to just figure out really quickly. I'm going to drop these 3 things for you one more time. I want you to just get focused and figure out what's the one thing that you're going to knock out the park. What's the one thing you're going to finish strong before the year ends? Like Stephen Covey said, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. I want to remind you, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Let go of that rearview mirror mentality. Stop focusing on what didn't happen, what didn't go your way, and let's just figure out how you're going to close out this year strong. What are you going to do? What is the one thing you're going to put all of your attention, all of your focus, all your energy into making happen? What is that one thing? Get crystal clear, so focused. And the reason why you want to get focused is because when you can eliminate the distractions, when you can get focused, that is when you produce major results. It is. One of my buddies said this the other day, and he is absolutely right. It is so much easier to make a whole lot of results and make a whole lot of money in a short period of time than it is to produce a small amount of results and make a small amount of money over a long period of time. You have to work 10 times harder to produce small results over a long period of time. You have to work 10 times harder to produce a small amount of money over a long period of time than you do to create a lot of results and to produce a lot of income in a short period of time. It just requires that you have a certain level of focus, and I need you to get that level of focus. If you understand what I'm saying right now, hit the share button, because somebody that you're connected to may just get a piece of this message before we finish out. So number one, I want you to focus on what that thing is. Find out what that thing is. Listen, you can't finish them all. Can we agree on that? You can't finish them all. We get that. You cannot finish it all. We get that. But what is the one thing that you can finish? What is the one thing you can put your focus on? What is the one thing you can knock out the park? What is the one thing that you can make happen? Can you close out another position in your direct sales company? Can you make sure that you make a certain amount of income before this month ends? Can you make sure that you close a certain amount of people to your business? Can you make sure that you finalize the book? Can you make sure that you lose a certain amount of weight? Can you make sure, what is the one thing that you can focus all of your energy, all of your attention on, and make that thing happen? Now, once you got that one thing and you're focused on it, now we want to create a sense of urgency. Don't be casual. Pick up your energy level, all right? Listen, I'm telling you, I hate it when I call people on the phone and I say, hey, how you doing? It's Andy Henriquez. And they go, hey, how you doing? I'm like, man, wait a second. Bring your energy up. Like, what are you doing with that? That kind of energy does not attract opportunities. That kind of energy does not equate to somebody who's closing. That kind of energy does not equate to anybody who's producing major results. Like, pick up your energy level, have a greater sense of urgency so that you can get things done, so that you can make more phone calls, so that you can produce better results, so that you can make this year be absolutely amazing. Don't allow the calendar to set your pace. You make the calendar adjust to your pace. Don't allow this holiday season to set your pace. You make this holiday season adjust to your pace. Let everyone else around you have to adjust to your pace. Bring up your energy level. Bring up your energy level. Bring up your key activities. I'm not just talking about just being busy for the sake of being busy. I'm talking about doing key activities that actually produce results. So create a sense of urgency. And then the other thing is, I want you to get this. Take the emotions out of the equation. Like, get out of your feelings. Yes, some things didn't work out. Yes, somebody let you down this year. Yes, you didn't necessarily hit all your goals. Yes, you wish some things could have been better. Get all those emotions out of the way. Stop replaying what didn't work out. Remove the emotions from it and get to work. What can you do with the time that you have left? What miracle can you make happen with the time that you have left? You know, it's so funny, but every time I pick up my Bible and I read and I see a miracle that is taking place, the miracle is always done with what has been left, like what's still there, what's left. The miracle is never focused around what was lost or what didn't happen or what was forfeited. Whenever a miracle was done, it was done with whatever was left. So if all was left was a little bit of oil, then that's what the miracle was done with. If all was left was a little bit of water, then that's what the miracle was done with. Do you hear what I'm saying? I want you to figure out, what do you have left right now that you can put into action to create a mini miracle for yourself before this year ends. Miracles are done with what you have left. So I want you to do the best you can with what you have, with where you are right now, with whatever you have left. So whatever you got left in the gas tank, whatever you got left in the bank account, whatever you have left in relationships, whatever you have left in your business, let's take that, let's compound it, let's make it focus, let's create a sense of urgency, and let's produce some major results. And when you begin to do that, when you start showing up that way, and when you start doing the work, do me a favor right now. If you're committed to doing the work to finish out this year, do me a favor. In the comment section, just put hashtag do the work. Put hashtag do the work. Do me that favor right now. Put hashtag do the work. Hashtag do the work. Like, I get it. While everyone else is shopping, I want you to be doing the work. While everybody else is planning for next year, and there's nothing wrong with planning for next year, but I want you to do the work. While everybody else is not making the phone calls to prospects and the leads, I want you to be doing the work. While everybody else is sort of checking out, they're not showing up to the gym, I want you to be doing the work. While everybody else is talking about what they're going to do, what they should have did, or what didn't happen, I want you to be doing the work. Do you hear me on that? So hashtag do the work. Do me a favor right now in the comment section, put do the work. That's what I'm talking about, Austin. You got to do the work. Do the work as you finish out this year. Yes, Derek, that's right. Do the work. Janelle, that's what I'm talking about. Do the work. Roz, do the work. Yes, Lionel, do the work. Yes, Kevin, do the work. You have to do the work. Let everybody else come up with the excuses. Yes, Darren, do the work. Let everyone else have the excuses. Let everyone be casual. Let everyone start checking out and so forth. Let them do it, because I want you to understand, you know, today they were just showing the, it was the final burial for our past president, George Bush. And he had a fascination for trains. And so part of his homegoing service, they were transporting his body via train because he really, really loved trains. But there's something I want to bring up to you. You know, when I was sort of looking at that and I was thinking about trains, you know, the thing about a train is that when a train is sort of like still, like it's not moving, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a whole lot of effort and a whole lot of energy to get that train moving, okay? I want you to get that. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of energy to get that very heavy, big, huge train moving. But what happens is once that train starts to build a little bit of momentum, once that train begins to move, once that train starts going and it starts building up some speed and it starts building some momentum, let me tell you something right now. You do not want to get in the way of that train, because that train will literally bust through a brick wall if a brick wall is in its way when it has created some momentum. And what I want you to understand is this. For a lot of people, that brick wall is going to represent that new year. And for a lot of people, I'm telling you right now, you will bust through the new year with a boatload of momentum. You will bust through the new year creating extraordinary results. You will bust into the new year creating income, closing deals, creating leads, achieving your goals if you begin to build up the momentum right now. If you can get the train going right now, if you can get the train to start building up momentum right now, and see, while you've got the momentum going, while you start getting that train going and you're accomplishing your goals and your dreams, everybody else, you know what they're going to be doing? On January 1st, and it doesn't even happen on January 1st because they're still recovering from hanging out and partying the night before. Most people don't even really truly kick off their year till a couple of days into January. And now they just now get into the year, and now they're trying to get their goals and their dreams off the ground. Now they're trying to make things happen. Do you understand that is trying to move? That's like trying to move a train that is an absolute standstill. Do you know how much focus, how much energy that takes? And that is the very reason why the majority of people who end up setting a New Year's resolution end up breaking it, because they realize that it is so much harder than what they thought it was going to be. They realize it takes so much more energy, so much more focus. And so what I'm saying is that let's create momentum right now. Let's get your train moving right now so that you can bust into the new year like a freight train, so that you can bust into the new year producing extraordinary results. And so what you've got to be willing to do is remove all of the emotions from it and just simply do the work. Do the work. Put in the phone calls. Follow up on the leads, the fortunes and the follow-up. All those things that you know that you got to be doing, this is the time for you to start doing them right now. Right now. Not next year, but right now. And I'm telling you, if you can implement these things, if you can be adamant about making those things happen, I'm telling you, you're going to finish this year strong. Extraordinary things are going to happen for you as you finish out this year, and then you're going to leverage that momentum to make next year an extraordinary year. But it's going to require that you finish this year very, very strong. And so if you haven't already done so, you guys know that every time I close out, I always like to give you a little takeaway. If you haven't already taken advantage, I have a free, very quick video training, and it shows you how you can leverage stories so that you can build connection, so that you can overcome objections, and that you can get people to take action. And if you haven't already taken advantage of that, I want you to just real quickly pull out your cell phone right now, or if you're on your cell phone, open up a separate window real quick. Text the word "show up" to 954-278-3701. So once again, you're going to text the word "show up," all one word. If you got an iPhone, it's going to automatically try to put a space between the word "showing up." Back that space out. Back that thing up, okay? Get rid of the space. Text the word "show up," no space in between, to the telephone number 954-278-3701. And once you do that, just sort of follow the cues and instructions. And once you've completed the cues and instructions, you're going to get access to a very quick video training. And that's my gift from me to you. Hey, listen, this is what I am certain of. I know that whatever you've made happen this year, that you still got some stuff in you that you can finish out. That there's some people who are your assignment, and they're waiting on you to show up. But one of the things that you got to be committed to is you got to be committed to finishing this year strong. And part of finishing this year strong is you got to make sure that you maintain a level of focus. You got to figure out what's the one thing that you're going to close out. Don't allow yourself to get distracted. As Stephen Covey said, keep the main thing the main thing. Figure out what's the one thing that you're going to focus on, the one thing that you're going to close out, the one thing that you're going to make happen. Put all of your attention, all of your focus on that one thing. Now, when you realize what that one thing is, create a sense of urgency. You can't be casual about your goals. You can't be casual about your dreams. Jim Rohn said if you're casual about your goals, you're casual about your dreams, you'll end up a casualty. So forget about being casual. I want you to get very, very focused, very, very serious, and have a sense of urgency. Urgency means you're going to pick up the energy level. You're going to increase your activity and make sure you're doing activities that produce results. And then finally, you're going to remove all the emotions from the equation. Forget about who did you wrong, what didn't work out, what should have been better, all those things. Remove the emotions out of the equation, put your head down, and do the work. And if you can do those things, great things will begin to happen. If you can do those things, you will, in fact, finish strong. If you can do those things, great things are going to happen for you as you finish out this year. So I can't wait to hear from some of you as you say, Andy, man, I tuned in. I got a little piece of your message. I realized I was starting to slow things down. and start having be one of those people with the next year mentality. But then I heard your message and I realized that there's still some days left in this year. And I got really, really focused. And this is what I made happen. I can't wait to hear those stories from all of you. So once again, I just want to thank all of you for tuning in and joining me on the Thursday night Show Up for Your Life Motivational live stream. I am looking forward to hearing back from you and hearing how you manage to finish this year strong. Listen, if you got some value from this message, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the share button because I know there's somebody that you're connected to that's going to get value from this message. Hey, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. I'll talk to you soon. All right, fantastic. Lewis, how are you, my man?